What's up, Rosterbaiters? Lil'Shane here, back. I'm back in my work office today. And I have a special guest, actually. My partner in business and in crime, Dr. Andrew Kavanaugh. There he is.
What's up, guys?
He's going to be doing some evaluations for us later on in the show. He is a fantasy football player as well. We actually have a charity league that we run and play in for the office, and we're both in the semifinals as well this week. You're playing our buddy Omar, actually,
Yes.
our nurse director. Awesome. And I'm playing my brother-in-law, Corey. All right, before we get going and start talking about the semifinals and the playoffs, let's see what has happened. Because, guys, we started off with 10 players. We are down to the final 4. That's right, Week 15 and the semifinals are starting on Thursday. Both of the top 2 seeds are back in action after getting the first week bye. But first, let's talk a little bit about how we got there and what happened in Week 14. First, my matchup with Zombie Jesus, our commissioner, our beloved Gerald, ended up exactly how I called it. It started off with some drama on Thursday night as we had 3 Minnesota Vikings in the mix. Most importantly, I had the decision on whether I was going to start Madison or Cook. Cook was injured. He was wearing some kind of harness on his shoulder, even though he was planning on playing. I had already been burned by this type of thing with Amari Cooper the week before, so I was very skeptical. All reports said that he was going to have a full workload, remembering that he had actually played with a shoulder harness before and did really well. Kind of helped me make my decision. At the time, I hated it. If y'all saw me on the chat, it made me want to vomit. I just had this picture in my head of him going out there, his shoulder getting blown up on the first play, and Madison was going to be sitting on my bench. And the most important game of the year so far for me with 20 points. Well, that worry went away pretty quickly as the dude just went off in the first half. Things were looking pretty bad for Gerald until Cousins hit that big play to Osborne with a 60-plus yard touchdown because he had Cousins and Osborne. That play ended up being over 24 points for Gerald. And that play kept him above water for the time being, but little did we know that that was going to be about 25% of his total points he scored all week in one play. Yeah, y'all didn't see me drinking beer at work. As we know, he failed to surpass 100 points and lost to me by over 60. I didn't make the right quarterback calls this week like I have been, but in the end, it didn't matter. Funny thing is, even though I had a great week, I would have lost to both other contenders in this round. Thank God I got the 3 seed by a mere 4 points over You Are Dope. And we're going to talk about that game next. So those 4 points ended up being a big difference maker because if he would have played Gerald instead of Z-Man, he would still be alive today, and I would be eliminated. This is why every little thing matters, guys, in fantasy. Z-Man, You Are Dope had a much closer matchup than us, but Z-Man went out to the heavy lead. His 2 tight ends combined for 64.6 points. Add another 37.8 points from Josh Allen, and he was going to be difficult to beat. You Are Dope made a valiant effort on Monday night with Stafford throwing a bomb to Van Jefferson, but unfortunately You Are Dope needed 2 of those bombs, not just 1, to actually catch Z-Man. He wasn't able to do it. You Are Dope's score of 160.25 wins over 80% of the time in this league. But you know what, guys? That's the playoffs. Sometimes those high scores that would win the regular season are not going to cut it because now the better teams are all that's left. Anyways, my condolences to You Are Dope and Zombie Jesus. Your season's over. By the way, G, it really is a shame that Jonathan Taylor didn't get to play in the playoffs. He would have made a difference. He wasn't going to score 60. But I'll plug in my little opinion. Maybe we talk about that again next year. A good discussion for the offseason about figuring out a way to not have Week 14 in the playoffs. I like having a 2-week championship. I do. I like having six teams in the playoffs. I've been in 10-team leagues where there's only 4, and it makes it a little less fun. So I don't know the answer, but let's talk about some of that during the offseason. So You Are Dope and Zombie are officially eliminated. With them, who is gone? Who are people we don't have to worry about now that they are gone? People the likes of the aforementioned Jonathan Taylor, up-and-coming Javonte Williams, Kyle Pitts is gone, Matthew Stafford gone, Leonard Fournette, Saquon Barkley, CeeDee Lamb, Mike Evans, Darren Waller, all gone. Players that we no longer have to worry about. All right. We can't forget about the Chafe Bowl. 2 games, again, one a blowout and one was the closest game all season, I think. I mean, that bar was bouncing back and forth. But anyway, we'll get to that. First, Voodoo versus Big Fresh. This is why I didn't want Voodoo in the playoffs, guys. This is why I knew I had to beat him in Week 13. He currently holds the all-time record for points scored in a week. No one is close to touching that 281. Only 3 or 4 teams have gone over 200 this season. I've done it once. He's done it twice now. Because when he explodes, he goes off. And I didn't want to be on the receiving end of it. If you would have told me that Lamar Jackson would end up having 0.35 points and Voodoo would still go over 200, I would have told you to suck on my long neck bottle. I wouldn't have believed it. But when 7 of his 10 starters go over 20 points and 2 of those go over 30, that's a hell of a week. Welcome to fantasy, Justin Fields, by the way. Speaking of, I'm glad his players are done for the year also. Because damn, I don't want to go against him. Then, actual B-Man versus Beef Shower. Seemed like it came down to the last play on Monday night. That percentage bar was bouncing around like an EKG reading from a fantasy football manager watching that game. Because that's how crazy it was. OBJ and Kyler Murray seemed to do everything right. Kyler got sacked 1 too many times by the Rams defense. If he escapes any of those 4 sacks or throws the ball away somehow, Beef Shower gets the upset and avoids the Chafe Bowl, because as we know, sacks count as -1 in this league. Instead, we have the bottom 2 teams fighting for not to be the inaugural season Chafe, because he lost by 0.7 points on like the last play of the game. Crazy stuff. But we all know Big Fresh and Jay Ever are heading to the 2-week Chafe Bowl Championship. So keep playing, fellas. All right. If you are paying attention to what's going on in the background, I have set up all 4 teams on my whiteboard. And before Dr. Kavanaugh knew who each team belonged to, he does now because I've been talking about him, he made some predictions and some evaluations. And I'm going to let him kind of provide his third-party input on each of the teams a little bit and pick who he thinks is going to win each game. All right, Andy, you're up.
Okay. Hey, guys. First of all, I figured I'd give a little bit of medical spin. Come into the room with my chart, my pink chart here to give you a little update, medical update relative and relevant for these. So, first of all, we got our man Joe Burrow. Everybody knows that he injured his finger. It shouldn't really affect him very much. It's a minor injury. It's not a Russell Wilson type of injury, which really sunk my team this year. Thanks a lot, Russell Wilson. We also got T.J. Hawkinson here. This one's a little bit more concerning, guys. He actually injured his hand, and he was out of practice on Wednesday. The Lions aren't optimistic, and as you know, they're in full tank mode, so starting him really doesn't help them a lot. I know also Swift is somebody they mentioned. He's not playing this week on anybody's team, but Swift is another one they're looking at. But honestly, you think Dan Campbell is in full-on tank mode. I can't expect to see Hawkinson play necessarily. If he does play with one hand the way he's been playing recently, he probably can catch any pass that Goff throws with one hand if Goff doesn't throw a freaking duck. James Conner, he had an MRI of his ankle. Chase Edmonds is probably coming back, so there might be a little bit of less production from him. He's one to be watching out for. Josh Allen, as you know, he sprained his foot, so I don't think you're going to see Superman running the football so much. I don't think it's going to affect him on his passing, though. I think he'll be in the game. I don't think it's going to hold him out, and they're vying for a playoff spot and everything. So I don't, they're still in the fight. I don't think he's going to be out of that game. He's the leader. I don't look for him to have a lot of rushing yards this week, though. Keenan Allen came back from a COVID protocol, as you know. Should be a good week, possibly a good week for him. Austin Eckler, he's back. And Aaron Rodgers, he's got a pinky toe injury. Do you think that's really going to affect him? I don't think it is. All right, so that's my medical report. Let's look at the teams here. So we got Team 1. Mentioned Burrow. He's been pretty good recently. He had like in the 20s and 30s recently. in the mid-20s. I like where he's going towards the end of the season here. He's trending back upwards. Rashad Penny's a really great pickup for the Seahawks. I think look for him to do pretty well this week. Cooper, man, that's you can now that he's coming back. I love Cooper. Tyreek Hill has been one of the more reliable guys recently. I don't know. I just and this is if he's playing and if he plays like he has been playing, this is a deadly tight end combination like Godwin and Dalvin Cook. I mean, can anything stop this guy? He puts a harness on and kicks everybody's butt. And this is a good, considering y'all value running quarterbacks from where Taysom Hill's looking good here. I mean, Hammer's always going to score a lot of points. Love Zeke. Cooper Kupp has been kicking our butt in our league, and I can't stand the guy because he always beats me. It's looking like a pretty decent matchup. I'm going to have to go with Team 1, though, on this one. I think there's just a little bit more firepower in Team 1 here, so that's where I'm going to go. But, he could go off at any point. So, he can score up there. I do look. I'm just going to give a slight edge to Team 1 on this one. Team 3 and Team 4. Let's see. We mentioned Allen. He's not going to get as much production, I think, as we usually expect from him. He's another killer. And Gibson, man, he goes back and forth. Justin Jefferson has been freaking lights out. You got Kittle here. That's a great start for a tight end right there. And Brandon Ayuk, I don't know. This team here, not bad. Let's see what he's going against. Tom Brady's been consistent. Mentioned Eckler, Connor, we're still, is still concerned about him. I'm not a big fan of what I got going here on our running backs. I'm definitely giving the edge on the running backs over here. Travis Kelce, and y'all are a tight end heavy league. Travis Kelce looking awesome. We got a running back here, one that's kind of a filler kind of running back as a tight end flex. Done well, but still he's just a filler kind of guy. And Cordell Patterson's been on and off. On this one, I think a lot of it goes on. Pat Mahomes can kill you. There's some weeks he's just going to just destroy you, but I'm going to go with Team 3 here. So count me in on the odds this week. I'm a little bit stronger on Team 3 than even this. I'm stronger on my confidence on this matchup than this matchup here, but I'm going with Team 1 and Team 3.
All right. Thanks, Andy. Well, there's a little bit of outside perspective, and just so you guys know, Team 1 is my team. That's Dark Knight Rises. Team 2 is PGB Kud, who I'm going against. He was the 2 seed. Team 3 up there is Z-Man with Josh Allen. He was our 5 seed. And then Team 4 is actually our number 1 overall seed. That is Beantown Ace, or Make America Gronk again. All right, so that's the semifinals. Let's break this down a little bit more. So we have the 1 seed going against the 5 seed. On average, Beantown Ace scored 17.5 more points than Z-Man on any given week. A rematch of the last game of the season where Z-Man needed to win to get in, and he did come away with a victorious score of 162.6 to 140.1. But Beantown Ace won the breakdown 8-5 over the season. Beantown Ace is coming in with his heavy hitters at QB, Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, like Andy talked about, who can easily win the week for him on their own. But he also has the second-ranked tight end going into week 15 in Travis Kelce. Second best running back combo in the league going into the week with Eckler and Patterson, and third best flexes. And now he has James Conner, who just went off with 30 points. We'll see if that injury lingers or not, but he could explode as well. He is going to be tough, which is why he was the 1 seed and why he scored so many points, more points than anybody else. What does Z-Man have going for him, though? Josh Allen is a big one. Like Andy said, we're a little bit worried about Josh Allen's rushing ability. That's what makes him good. Is he going to be able to get it done with his arm? We'll see. He needs another showing like he did last week, but that hasn't been his MO. He usually follows a big week with a crappy game. He has been up and down all season. He can't do that this week against Carolina Z-Man. He needs to go off for you. You can't follow up a good week last week with another bad week. Also, remember when I said that Beantown had the second projected tight end to play? That's because Z-Man has the number 1. Kittle is projected higher than Kelce because of what Kittle has done recently. He's going to need Kittle to produce. There's no way in hell he's going to go put up 30 or 3 40-point games in a row in our league, but he can certainly put up 30 against Atlanta. He's going to need someone. He's going to need him to do that. He's going to need his wide receivers to pick it up a little bit. He has the number 4 ranked wide receivers going in and number 8 best ranked running backs. Justin Jefferson, DK Metcalf specifically. He's going to need Russ to throw to DK instead of Tyler Lockett if he wants to hold up and beat Beantown Ace. By the way, I think I can also speak for PGB. We would really appreciate it if you took Pat Mahomes and Tom Brady out of the playoffs, bro. Go Z-Man, go. Go Team 3. I hope that Dr. Andy's prediction over here comes to fruition because I don't want Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs anymore. I want them to be gone. All right, moving over to this side of the screen. My team against PGB could. The 2 seed going against the 3 seed. On average, PGB scored about 10 points more than I did per week. When it comes down to the breakdown, he would have won 7 and I would have won 6 if we played every week. So a little bit closer than the other game. PGB got lucky that he escaped week 14 because he had some people on bye, including 3 or 4 possible starters, but they are all back. Now I get to deal with the likes of touchdown machine Hunter Henry, young wide receiver studs Michael Pittman and Jalen Waddle while they are all rested and ready to go. But he also has the 3rd best projected quarterback combo in the league with Aaron Rodgers and Justin Herbert. They can combine for 60 points on any given week. Herbert has had some consistency issues throughout the year, but has really put it together as of late and scored 20 points in 3 straight games. He's now facing a possible shootout versus Kansas City, but Kansas City, like Andy said, their defense has really picked it up over the last month. Maybe they can hold up, and it's a Thursday game. Aaron Rodgers could be staring at a back-to-back MVPs, which no one thought he would do, and it doesn't fucking matter who he plays because he can be Aaron Rodgers against anybody. He has the 2nd worst quarterback play projected going into Week 15 in the league, but that doesn't seem to affect him much when he has Cooper Kupp. The guy is a beast. All I can do is hope for a sub-20-point game, and that's a win for me. Kupp has made his wide receivers the 2nd best projected in the league going into Week 15. As for my team, check it out. Before the season started, I wanted to have the best wide receivers in the league, and I did on paper by far. I didn't do bad as I'm going in projected to have the 3rd strongest wide receivers going into Week 15, but I am the number 1 ranked running back combo going into Week 15, which before the season was my weakest point. But now with my Cook-Madison combo, David Montgomery, Michael Carter, possible emergence of Rashad Penny, these guys are actually what are making my team stand out, which the analysis that Gerald gave my team at the beginning of the season was that every down backs matter, and I didn't have them. Well, guess what? Now I have them. I have the 2nd worst projected quarterbacks, but it's Taysom Hill time. Can he continue to get a little lucky and make 1 big play per game to keep his score up there in the higher echelons? Or will he actually start throwing the ball against the Tampa Bay defense, which is possible, in addition to using his legs? We know Tampa Bay is going to put up points. We know they're going to be playing from behind. And we know that Taysom Hill is going to be scrambling around. I think he can do it. And, by the way, it is Tyreek Hill time. He didn't necessarily get me here other than 2 weeks, but I'm going to need him if I'm going to get into the ship. He starts me off on Thursday. It's Tyreek Hill versus Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen on Thursday. Can he start me off like Dalvin Cook did last week? All right, guys. This time next week, there will only be 2 teams left. Who will go to the glorious 2-week Super Bowl in weeks 16 and 17? 2 of the 4 teams that left. 2 of these 4 teams are going to be elated. 2 of them are going to be devastated. Where are you going to stand? I'm not going to personally project anything because bad things happen when I do that. But we have Dr. Andy's projections over here. He projected my team to win and Z-Man's team to win. But let me hear what you think. PGB, speak up. You going to beat me, bro? Let's see it. Get some revenge against the guy who said your team was the worst team in the league preseason. I'm calling you out because you've only sent 12 messages all year on the chat. Let's go, man. But hey, that's 12 more than Jeever has sent all year. All right, thanks again to my business partner, Dr. Kavanaugh. This has been Lil'Shane, a.k.a. Deck Night Rises, a.k.a. Shane Littleton, from over here in Georgetown, Texas at Chisholm Trail Pediatrics.
Nice.
Good luck to all the contenders, and cheers, fellas.